You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 15th day of May, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do two every trading day. The first one is private. That's our live training room, and that is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, you can do so by going to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page there's a link that says 5-day free trial. No credit card required. Just click the link, fill out the registration form. It's an automated process. Make sure you fill it out right so we actually get it. And then typically what will happen is, same day, we'll help you get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and then your trial will start the following day. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend that you sign up for the trial. You'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. For instance, today's Wednesday. You sign up today, your trial starts tomorrow, so you get Thursday and Friday. The weekend, even though there are markets that trade over the weekend, that doesn't count against you. Then you get Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So 5 consecutive days, even if it stretches over a weekend. Now, when the live training room ends each day, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, and then we come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There are a couple different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way is you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link, complete the 30-second registration form there, and you're done. Again, you only have to do that once. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you will get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. Inside the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you will have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live, but want to catch up later. You can do both of those. I'm talking about our YouTube channel. It's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Already have the YouTube part memorized, so Really, all you need to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,500 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to the power of YouTube, you can actually see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. And just pick some days at random. Watch a little bit, fast forward a little bit, jump to another day, do the same thing. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. Okay, let's open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer, as we do each day. Now, the topic of our devotion, which we started yesterday, faith works, focusing really on the book of James. And so today's scripture is James 1, verses 2 through 18. I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you become mature and well developed, not deficient in any way. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to when you ask for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the Master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. When down and outers get a break, cheer. And when the arrogant rich are brought down to size, cheer. Prosperity is as short-lived as a wildflower, so don't ever count on it. You know that as soon as the sun rises, pouring down its scorching heat, the flower withers, its petals wilt, and before you know it, that beautiful face is a barren stem. Well, that's a picture of the prosperous life. At the very moment everyone is looking on in admiration, it fades away to nothing. Anyone who meets a testing challenge head on and manages to stick it out is mighty fortunate. For such persons, loyally in love with God, the reward is life and more life. Don't let anyone under pressure give in to evil. Say, God is trying to trip me up. God is impervious to evil and puts evil in no one's way. The temptation to give in to evil comes from us and only us. We have no one to blame but the leering seducing flare-up of our own lust. Lust gets pregnant and has a baby, sin. Sin grows up to adulthood and becomes a real killer. So my very dear friends, don't get thrown off course. Every desirable and beneficial gift comes out of heaven. The gifts are rivers of light cascading down from the Father of light. There's nothing deceitful in God, nothing two-faced, nothing fickle. He brought us to life using the true word, showing us off as the crown of all his creatures. Now again, that was James chapter 1, verses 2 through 18. One thing you need to understand in order to feel the weight of what we just read is the fact that the book of James was written in AD 48 through 52. It was the first book to be written in what's now called the New Testament. Nearly 500 years had passed since Malachi had written the final words of Old Testament scripture. You don't just pick up parchment and decide to write a letter to God's people. This wasn't the age of blogs, social media, or talking heads on cable news. What would prompt somebody to address people he had never met? The Spirit of God had an urgent yet eternal word for the church in that moment, as well as for us today. So the first details we need to know are who James' audience was and why God spoke to them. James, the half-brother of Jesus, wrote this letter to believers outside Palestine. This was a decade, maybe less, after the death, burial, resurrection, and ascension of Christ. Let's put this time frame in context. If we're tracking the early church's progress as recorded in the book of Acts, we're not even halfway through the book yet. In fact, believers were just starting to be called Christians in Acts 11:26, which was originally a derogatory term opponents used to mock and belittle believers. Christians had scattered, but Paul hadn't gone on his first missionary journey yet. Peter was literally facing a trial of the legal kind. Many Christians were literally facing life or death situations. Persecution is still a reality for Christians throughout the world today. But these aren't the only kinds of trials worthy of mention in Scripture or worthy of the Spirit's comfort through the Word of God. James said trials of various kinds, family, finances, health, work, and neighbors, can all be trials. We shouldn't be surprised when we face trials. Trials come just because we live in a fallen world broken by sin. The good news is that vindication and victory are also guaranteed. Jesus Christ, who suffered unjustly to the point of death, was not only resurrected, but is also coming back to judge the righteous and the unrighteous. Fiery trials will shed light on the truth. Jesus is Lord. He's worthy. He's good. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, in the midst of trials and temptations, turn to you, knowing that you are the source of every good and perfect gift. Help us, Lord, to count it all joy when we face various trials, knowing that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. Grant us wisdom, Lord, as we seek your guidance in the midst of challenges. Strengthen our faith and help us to trust in your promises, knowing that you are faithful to fulfill them. May we be doers of your word and not hearers only, deceiving ourselves. Let your word dwell richly within us, transforming our hearts and minds. Lord, we thank you for your abundant grace and mercy, which sustain us in times of trial. Help us to lean on you and to seek your will above all else. May our lives be a testimony to your faithfulness, and may we bring glory and honor to your name in all that we do. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. And happy Wednesday. Tomorrow night, members only workshop. So if you've been on the trial, you want to make sure you get yourself positioned so that you can be in the members only workshop tomorrow night. Now back on Monday, we talked about the numbers that would come out this morning, the economic report, the CPI. And one of the reporters over at Bloomberg, or a group of them, agreed that the CPI print today, whatever it was, would create some wild swings in the market. They specifically spoke about the S&P 500, but we've seen it all around. Now, there was concern that there would be a hotter than expected print, but interestingly, we got a cooler than expected print. I'll share another article with you in a minute, but let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow's up 228 points. The Nasdaq's up 161. That's almost 1%. S&P 500 is up 43, almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 18, again, almost 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 41 cents, trading 78.47 last. Gold up $25.50, trading 23.8570 last. And silver up 89 cents, trading 29.60 last. That's a gain of over 3%. And a reminder, when the price of silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. That's when silver moves $1, and we're currently up 89 cents on the session. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 29 points. The Shanghai fell 25. The Hang Seng dropped 41. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 17, DAX up 152, the CAC up 14. Now for the DAX, those 152 points are worth almost 1%. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it is a green Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. So let's talk about that number we got today. Now, I'm going to share with you this article, but you got to ask yourself, how much of it do you actually, or better yet, does it apply to your life? Is it true in your world? Okay, not Capitol Hill, not Washington D.C., not Manhattan, not Wall Street, but in Duluth or Dubuque or Des Moines, right? In the heartland. Inflation pressures eased in April. For some reason, they skipped Phoenix. But the progress was likely not enough to push the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates just yet. Now, an economist at Bank of America said, well, at least it's a step in the right direction. But is it enough for the Fed to get too excited about? Probably not. In April, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, on a core basis, which strips out food and energy prices, and now also coffee. If you didn't see that post that I put in the Breeze channel the other day, rose 3.6% year over year. That was in line with expectations, and it cooled from the 3.8% increase seen in March. Monthly core price increases clocked in at 0.3%, in line with expectations and down from 0.4% in the prior 3 months. The numbers are probably not enough to immediately alter the Fed's higher for longer stance following hotter than expected inflation reports at the start of the year. In fact, Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it clear today, or yesterday, he thinks the Fed will need more than a quarter's worth of data to really make a judgment on whether inflation is steadily falling towards 2%. That implies it will take more than 3 inflation reports for the Fed to feel confident about lowering rates from a 23-year high, putting the odds of a first rate cut in September if the data supports such a move. Now, do I think data will support such a move? You may have heard we're in a presidential election year, and the hottest topic on everyone's mind, lips, and wallet is inflation. So I think we might just see a few points shaved here and there. Following the CPI release today, markets were pricing in a roughly 53% chance that the Fed will begin to cut at its September meeting, according to data from the CME FedWatch tool. That's up from about a 45% chance the month prior. Investors now anticipate roughly 2 quarter-point cuts this year, down from the 6 we were promised. Powell said Tuesday that his confidence inflation will keep cooling is not as high as it was at the start of the year, and that the central bank will need to be patient before lowering interest rates. In other words, once everybody's broke, unemployed, and homeless, then they'll bring them down. That's how I interpret it. I think that it may be that it takes longer than expected to do its work and bring inflation down. Now, he said this on a panel in Amsterdam. You know, we got all these government officials traveling all over the world, you know, burning fossil fuels. I mean, there's a couple of applications that you can use on your computer, and it's almost as if you were in Amsterdam. You may have used one of them at some point. You may be using one right now. Powell seemed to think that getting the last percent or so of inflation back down to 2% could take longer and potentially be more painful than last year's steady drops month over month. That's because he believes supply chain issues that were pushing up prices have largely been resolved, and now it's about tempering consumer demand. Well, we'll see. Everybody's complaining about the biggest problem our current president faces is the economy. Stupid. That's a famous line from many years ago when Paul Volcker was running the show. We also talked about GameStop this week. What a cautionary tale. GameStop tanked 30% today as a rally among meme names showed signs of fading. Shares of the video game retailer are coming off a 2-day short squeeze. GameStop stock gained more than 180% in the prior 2 sessions. AMC also fell as much as 27% today after shares of the theater chain operator rose 95% over the last 2 days. Currently, GameStop is down 31% on the day. AMC is down 22% on the day. Other heavily shorted stocks that dropped today included SunPower, Beyond Meat, and The Children's Place. Now, the GameStop shares surged Monday after the reemergence of Keith Gill, also known as Roaring Kitty, whose bull case on GameStop ignited the meme stock rally back in 2021. The pain short sellers endured during the original meme stock rally 3 years ago did not deter bets against these companies in recent days. When the dust settles, where will the price be? Probably right about where it was before it all started. Just a guess. All right, Logic 247, our 24/7, around the clock, Emini alert service. Rough week. We had 3 great weeks back to back, 10% or lower being stopped down. But we're now in week 302. And over the last 302 weeks, we've issued over 16,600 individual handcrafted alerts. We've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. This week, since the markets opened Sunday night, as of 6:45 a.m. this morning when Valerie did the recap, we've issued a total of 25 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 20 actionable alerts, of which 6 or 30% would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Well, we still got 2 days to see what we get back to, but it's been on a weekly basis that we've been at 20% or less. Now, I'm going to have to put you on hold for just 1 second, but hang tight. I will be right back. And we're back. Sorry about that. I'm plagued with technical difficulties today. Along with the logic alerts, we also have our original alert service, concierge trade alerts, which are a little bit different. The purpose of the alerts is to help you learn how to read the chart. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock as opportunity presents, as futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. But the CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. Last night, 10 minutes after the open, this report came out. Members and trial members. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Now with the logic alerts, I give you the entry price, the initial target, and any additional targets or obstacles BBC simply stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line you see on my charts, that's the BBC. When price crosses above the green line, we anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we anticipate lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. But for the purpose of the alerts, they're all generated from the 30-minute chart. With the CTAs, you get to look left yourself to spot potential obstacles and or targets. Same thing. And you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Price is always trying to reach a weekly zone. The moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon. Now we've published the zones for our members almost 15 years, since December 14th, 2009. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Just resist the urge to make things more complicated than that. As long as you know which way the wind's blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now, let's look at the daily chart. Why? Because institutional traders, ones who actually move price with their account size, look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Now Monday, we talked about the potential for a double top. Bloomberg said that a double top is the most bearish signal you can find in the markets. I think a bearish engulfing is more bearish, but we'll see. Step line is trying to cross blue and climbing. It started trying yesterday, but then that news today sent us higher. But cooler heads are going to prevail. Today's high is 53.18. The all-time high put in April 1st is 53.33 half. So while it doesn't look like much here, it is still substantially higher. We're above the BBC. We're above blue and climbing. The step line hasn't crossed, and the market continues to inch its way higher. Now the high put in here on April 4th was 53.08 and a half. Taking that out, the next obstacle Our target is the all-time historic high put in on April 1st. As I said, all of the alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. Here's where we opened last night. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, from Tuesday, and if we scroll back, there's Monday. When price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance. It drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. So we rallied into the close yesterday and then sold off. And on the 30-minute chart, the step line did cross. We did go on to hit the long target, pull back to the BBC, consolidated for quite a few hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. These are 30-minute candles. Then that CPI economic report came out. Whether you believe it or not, that doesn't matter. Okay, market doesn't care whether you believe it or not, nor do the institutional traders. We got a leg, a retracement, a leg. Now we're sort of consolidating sideways. And this is the highest weekly trading zone for the week. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night. We consolidated at the zone for a few hours. We attempted a run at the long target, but we hit red and falling, pushed us back down to the BBC where we consolidated for hours. And then here comes the news. Took us all the way to the zone overhead. We overshot it, but by the time the 30-minute candle closed, we were back below it. Consolidated, another spike, retracement, another spike, and a retracement. And as you can see, the step line here is on the vert. If we go sideways another candle or two, we'll have the step line cross, blue and climbing, and we'll look for a retracement back to the BBC. If the pullback holds, and we'll look for long trades. If the pullback doesn't hold, then we'll look for short trades. It's pretty simple. On the Russell, here's where we opened. And when blue and climbing gets directly above price, it can become resistance because it's probably on its way to becoming red and falling. So we consolidated along the BBC, reached up, touched the long target. We got a retracement ahead of the news, and then at 8:30, there we go. Now, we've still got one more zone overhead, way up at 21.59. Today's high so far, 21.32 half. Now the step line crossed, but we didn't get a retracement. So, got to watch for an obstacle here and here. Is there a window of opportunity between this high and this high? Absolutely. 21.25 up to 21.30. Nice 5-point opportunity if price can overcome this swing high right here. On the NQ, we opened right at the weekly zone, came down, found support. Support sent us up to the target, punched through red and falling, just enough to hit the target. That sent us back to the BBC and the weekly zone where we consolidated for hours. The CPI number came out, got a leg, a retracement, and a leg, and price is attempting to get to the highest zone. Remember, once the zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they do not change in any way whatsoever. Does price ever close above the highest zone or the lowest zone for the week? Occasionally. Over the last 15 years, we've had a handful or two of times when that did happen in different markets. On crude, here's where we opened last night, pulled back to the BBC, made a run to the zone, consolidated. When price reaches a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you're going to get consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, 10% of the time slice. So after consolidating, blue and climbing turned to red and falling. We got below the BBC, and it took us right down to the short target, down to the zone below. Support sends the market looking for resistance. Resistance sends the market looking for support. 77.05 is that zone. There's one more zone below, down at 74.30. We're above the BBC. We need to take out this high, but then you've got this high and this high. Both could become potential resistance. And if we get above the zone, we got this high here at 78.75. Call it a target, call it an obstacle. It amounts to the same thing. On gold, we opened here, pulled back to the BBC, made a run to the target. Now with gold, you only need to see price move $1 to get your goal for the day. So this one candle here opened at 2363.90 and ran up to 2366.80. It's almost $300 per contract traded in that one candle. You're above the BBC, above blue and climbing, above the step line, all systems go. And we just barely took out yesterday's high. And we retraced, and we made a run back. This time we hit the target, we hit the zone, and this candle on the 30-minute chart sliced through the zone like it wasn't even there. When that happens, price will typically retrace to the zone it sliced through, continue in the direction of the slice, exactly what it did. And then once we hit this resistance, market goes looking for support, which it found at the zone. We spiked it, popped right back above it. Now we're trying to get to the zone at 2398/99. The highest zone for the week is up at 2443/44. We still got the rest of today and Thursday and Friday. Silver. Here's where we open. Dropped the BBC and the zone. That's support times 2. There's that consolidation that we see 70% of the time. And we had the perfect stack on the way up. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. You only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. This candle opened at 28.90 and ran up to 29.03. 13 cents, $650 per contract traded. Get a retracement. This is how price moves. Leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg. So now we're waiting on the next retracement. The highest zone for the week on silver is up at 30.40. Now, the highest zone doesn't mean we expect to get there, but we don't expect to close above it for the week. Sometimes we'll trade above the highest zone or below the lowest zone. Then by close of business on Friday, price is back at the zone or below, or if it's the lowest zone, at or above. Right now, all systems are still go, although we've seen price get rejected, 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 rejected. If we start to go sideways, then look for the step line to cross blue and climbing. give us a pullback to the BBC. On the euro, here's where we opened last night. Pull back to the price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement. Then comes the news, and off we go. And that is, I believe, the highest weekly zone this week for the euro. 108,670, it is. So it's possible we could close the week above the highest zone. A lot of that will depend on what happens here. We now have a high of 53.20. Again, the all-time high is 53.33. So we got about 13.5 points more to go. That little spot right there. And then we'll have that double top that Bloomberg was talking about on Monday. And we'll see if indeed that is the most powerful. In this case, most powerful bearish signal. Okay, Michael's having trouble trying to get in. Let me see if he's able to get in over here. I'll make him the organizer. All right, hang on just a second. There it goes. Okay. Okay, Michael, you got it. Okay.
Yep. Got it. Okay. That was a hassle. I'm hoping it's going to be all better later today when neither one of us are logged in.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, looks good.
Let's get this going. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is not Monday. Today is Wednesday, the 15th day of May. Today's Wednesday, the 15th day of May. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, all you need to do that is go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. When you click on that, it will bring you to this page. Nope, not that page. It will bring you to, hang on, I'll get the right page here for you. I'll bring you to this page. All right, on this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have a Ninja, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID. If you have both, give us both. All right. When you do that, we will be able to set you up with your trial and get everything going on your desktop. All right. That's where you want to be when you start the trial. You want to have everything running on your desktop. Okay. So in here, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Now, in the session this morning, I got carried away again, and I ended up doing the training right through past the close of the morning session. So I didn't place as many trades. I placed as many trades as I did yesterday and the day before, but it's because I stopped out in the first little bit. I took half of the trades, almost half of the trades, just getting the goal this morning in 12 minutes. But anyway, We're up 42 ticks on the NQ, 13 ticks on the Russell, 12 ticks on the YM, and 1 tick on the ES. That put us at plus 347.5 on the morning session. Today it took 12 minutes and 6 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,870, and we took a total of 16 trades this morning. So on a month now, we're up $3,637 over 11 trading days, averaging $330 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we're at $37,372. So over 92 business days, averaging $406 per contract per business day. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, following the 24/20 blueprint, adding 1 contract per month, earning your way up to that 1 contract per month. So far this year, you would have only had to work 33.16 hours. And if you started with 1 contract and you worked your way up to 5 so far this year in the 5th month, you would have averaged $1,117 doing everything like I did in the room, quitting when you get the goal for the day. Now, if you started in January of last year like I did, you'd be at 17 contracts and not 5. And you'd be averaging $5,911 per hour, doing everything like I do in the morning. Okay? That is where you want to be. All right? And you can see, starting with 1 contract, you will get there if you just keep following the plan. Keep following the plan. This number keeps getting bigger and bigger. And this number over here keeps getting bigger and bigger. Right? By the end of the session, by the end of the 24/20 blueprint in August, we'll be at 20 contracts. Curious to see how big that number is when we get closer to 20 contracts. All right. All right, let's get into the actual trades. Now, we took something on everything today, so we'll start out with the YM, and it's 12:59, so I'm going to end up running over on this too. Let me bring up the YouTube stream. Now, I am starting with this, youtube.com/CFRN. Here it is. Bring that up. Okay. So I can monitor questions over there and monitor questions in here. There we go. All right. So this morning on the YM, we ended up having just a few trades on the YM, and we ended up positive overall. We had a break even, then a plus 12, then another break even, and another break even. We got into the lesson plan, and I wasn't taking any trades in here during the lesson plan. You can see there was a blurple right there, and a purple right there, and no trades on. Let's see. We had another blue arrow here, and here. This was toward the end of the morning session. This was actually during the break. We had a blue arrow there that worked out fine. And during the break, which is a couple of purple arrows that worked out fine. Green arrows too. Gray arrow worked out fine. Even the black ones all worked out. That was during the break. We ended up with just those few trades and 12 ticks in profit on the YM this morning. On the Russell, we didn't have a ton of trades there either. But let's go all the way back to the beginning. And here's where we started with the Russell. We had a break even on the very first trade there on the Russell. And then we followed that up with a plus 10 right there, another break even, and then a plus 3 right here to give us 13 on the morning session. We got into the lesson plan. I wasn't trading at all, and there were no more blue arrows. Right, I gotta go check and see what the news events were for today. On the ES, we had just a couple of trades, and we're plus 1 tick. That was our 1 tick right there, and a break even right there. This is the whole day on the ES. During the break, there was 1 blue arrow right there. They gave enough to get the stop to break even. You see the ES is starting to run right now. The weekly trading zone is up above. I suspect that's where it's going to run up to. Okay, I suspect that's where it will be running to. Now the NQ. Let's see, the NQ this morning. Let's go all the way back here. Let's see, we started out with the NQ with the stop out. It was my fault. I should have had to stop at break even. That was my first mistake of the day. I should have my stop at break even on that one. Then we had a break even there, and then we got a little bit back here. So we were at minus 20. Then actually we got all of it back right here. We had a plus 30 right there. That put us at plus 10. And then we stopped out right after that, put us down to minus 10. Then I was getting into the lesson plan a little bit here. It looks like, or I used this anyway during the lesson plan. The next trade that we took, we missed that blue arrow there, and we got something here. We went from 10 to sorry, let me just say, we went from minus 20 to plus 10, then plus 10 to minus 10. So we stopped out and went to minus 10. Then from minus 10 to plus 2. So I had a plus 12. That's what that was. I had a plus 12 there. That got us to plus 2. And then we had a plus, another plus 12. That got us to 14. Right. And then we had a trade right here. This is the one that I did during, I was actually doing this part of the lesson plan right here, and I ended up getting 28 ticks on that. I goes from 14 up to 42. And that is where we ended the trading for the morning session. Okay, during the break, there was a blue arrow there, a blue arrow there, a blue arrow there. This one would have stopped you out. That would have been okay, that would have been okay, but the other two would have stopped you out. And that was the NQ for the morning. So we had an interesting morning. I mean, it started out a mess because I couldn't get into, I couldn't get in here just now. I couldn't get into the room this morning either. I couldn't open the room up this morning. So I'm going to have to reboot my computer, I think, here after we're done here. And I haven't done that in a while. I was able to get right in on another computer next to me, but I was not able to get in on this one. So I will work it out. Now I guess we're just going to get into the trading. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here is the purple button. Click on that purple button. It'll bring you to this registration page. On this page, just fill it out. Down here at the bottom, there's no credit card required. Right down here at the bottom, if you have Ninja, give us a machine ID. A Trading View, give us a Trading View ID. All right, give us that information, and we'll be able to help you out. All right, we'll get your indicators indicating on your charts for you. That's where you want to be when you take the free trial. All right, I feel like I've been going nonstop since the morning. So let's go look at other stuff that I haven't done yet today. Bitcoin, I was thinking it'd probably have a move up today, and it did have a move up today. Okay, so Bitcoin had a decent move up. And if we look at this, the way that it's been acting in here, we're still in a downtrend. It hasn't gone up enough to change the trend or anything like that, but we do have higher bottoms right now. We have higher lows. So this is a shoulder, this is a head, this is a shoulder developing here for an inverted head and shoulder pattern to move up. Okay, just my opinion about Bitcoin. I haven't looked at this stuff yet today. Go up here and look at all these things. Now we did look at some of this stuff yesterday, and it was interesting yesterday in here. Yesterday I created this the purple arrow, and we never got to see a trigger yesterday. Okay, but now if I just click on the one that we created yesterday, we should be able to see where it triggered when it loads up. This was 1202, a purple arrow short at 12 purple arrow short. I'm sorry, we weren't looking at this yesterday when we were doing it. It was the other charts. This one here, I just want to look at XON. Hang on, just look at XON from this morning and see what happened with that. 15 range. If Ray got paid this morning, it should be right in there. Probably not. No, it doesn't look like he had an opportunity there. But at 10:30, if you get the first one, and you got this one right here on the 15 range, that was a great trade there on the X1. I don't know if Ray's in here right now, but that was a great trade this morning on the XOM. And you can see all this information right here is from that trade. The risk reward, it was a 4.42 to 1 risk reward. So it was a great risk reward. You only had to risk 26 cents on the trade. Not bad at all. And it was from 1663. So far it's run a full $2 and then some. No, almost $2. Sorry, almost $2. So that was a great trade this morning on the S1. Now let's jump back over here and look at the purple arrows that I was just talking about. Okay, this was a purple arrow short. Oops, yesterday on the NQ. This is one that just triggered right here. This purple arrow short right here. We talked about this yesterday when I created the purple arrow, and I was talking about the purple arrow and how the purple arrow, when it's coupled with the blue arrow, is a super high probability trade. Because the blue arrow by itself, before I created the purple arrow, was our highest probability trade. Then the purple arrow on top of it tells you that the long and short-term trend are both in favor of the trade. The outer band is the right color. The long and short-term trend are both in favor with the blue arrow trade. Now, You're going to get purple arrows sometimes when the market's flat like this and the outer band is flat. You're not going to get blue arrows in those trades. You're not going to get other kinds of arrows that would normally get disqualified. You can get purple arrows inside a no trading zone even. And in those cases, it's not going to be great. Those aren't going to work out as well. There was something else that I covered this morning in the lesson plan this morning when I was talking about the pullbacks, and like this one, purple arrow and completely flat area right there. They don't work out as well. Okay. So just be cognizant of that. I'm still working. I can change the parameters for the purple arrow to make it include other things, qualifiers. But I wanted to get it out there because all the alerts and everything were in the same build. So I'm going to get that stuff out there for you. Again, the purple arrow is just showing you that the long and short-term trend are in favor of the trade, and that the black line is in the right color. If you pull back and you hit the ribbon, and the outer band is right, and the black line is in the right color, it's going to give you a purple arrow. All right, it doesn't really care what the slingshot is doing. That's not completely true. It does actually want the slingshot to be in favor of the trade too. It doesn't have to come out of the overbought or oversold like it had to for the other ones, like it has to for the other ones. Okay. But we created that purple arrow yesterday, and then we never got to look at it. And yesterday during this session, I think it says right here, that's a blue arrow long. This one right here yesterday at 13:18. At 1:18 yesterday, I created this thing, and we never got to see one. So there you have one right there, purple arrow short. And we also created this purple arrow long yesterday at 1:15. And let's see the purple arrow long right here. Oops, cancel. That was at 11:32. Well, any one of these is a purple arrow long too. And it should probably trigger those. It probably did trigger those. The one down there though is at 11:32, 10:32, 11:12. Here it is, right here. 11:32. This purple arrow long is what that is referring to. This purple arrow long is the one before it, right there. And you had a whole bunch of blue arrows. Another purple arrow long here at 10:31. That is this one back here. Okay. So you can set these alerts up. Those of you guys who are interested in it, you can set the alerts up by simply going up here to alert. Click on that. Then click on the context PP, whichever one you have activated. For me, it's this one right here that I have activated. Version 7.0, version 6.0, version 8.0. I guess this is the most recent one, so I should probably click on that one. But that's not the one that's activated. But I didn't realize it gave those version numbers. That's pretty interesting. This, I actually did put something in last night. Oh yeah, let me show you this stuff. This is something I put in last night or this morning I created for you guys to see. So let me just show you this. All right, you can put an alert on any one of these things that you have. All right, now it's not going to trigger an alert unless it's activated, but there's a change that I put in. This was part of the lesson plan from today. That's why there's hardly anything showing up right there. But there was a change I put in last night. I got rid of all the other stuff on here. So let's put the table back on anyway. Okay, we'll show target line. Let's have show table. You know what? Why don't I just put a new one on? I just go out here and put a new one on like this. Okay. I was using this for the lesson plan. I might go back to that tomorrow. So in here, it's got one target. Let's number of targets is 3. Okay, well with this market, it's looking left and it's only finding one target while it looks left. I want to look at something myself right now that I'm just curious about. 6 months and let's see. Okay, that's why, because there is nothing left beyond there. I was just trying to say, I want to make sure that it was because there is no other target over there. That's the reason why it's not finding anything. Okay, so we'll go back to our whatever time frame we had that on. We had on the 15 range. Let's do it on the 7 range. We'll probably find more targets on the 7 range. Nope, no targets at all on the 7 range. All right, we'll go back to 15. But anyway, what I was trying to show you is that this target table can now be positioned in different places. Right, that was the thing that I put in this morning. It was a request from one of the guys yesterday afternoon. you can change the position vertically. See how it is right here? I really want to do this on something that's let's go look at the ES. So I might have more stuff in the table on the ES. Hey, we'll look at the Russell. The Russell's got more stuff in the table on this. All right, so we'll add the new one on here. Add the new context PP on here. And I'm gonna have to change the sensitivity on it to 2.05. That'll do. And now you see the two tables are right on top of each other. That was the original one, and this is the copy. So now I can change this table to be, let's say I want to put it right center. See that? Now the table is right here in the middle. So I can put it on the right side, right in the middle. So it's right there next to price. Now if I want to have it there. That was one of the changes that was requested yesterday. And I was able to throw that together last night or this morning. So you can move it up and down. You can put it on the bottom, you can put it on the top, you can put it in the center, you can put it on the left, the right, center, left, top, bottom, middle. Move it wherever you want to move it now. Now you can't physically grab it and move it around. I wish you could, but they don't give you that capability. But I did give you all the capability. I have now provided for you, the user, all the capability that they provide for us, the developer. So you can move it to the left. It's going to stick it over here. And you can move it to the bottom. Stick it down here. And you can move it all the way up to the right. Stick it all the way over here at the bottom. So if you don't like having it up in the top, if that's kind of in the way for you, you can stick it down here at the bottom and just tuck it down there and look down there and see your targets if you want to. Okay, I think it was a pretty good change. The request for that was a pretty good change to be able to add in. Let's look to see if John's in here. John requested it yesterday and he's not watching right now. But I did text him that last night. There's a nice green arrow right there that just triggered. This is the Russell with that green arrow triggered on. I'm still trying to find my DOMs in there. Now, let's see. It's 11:15, so I only have about 15 minutes left. So let's just, let's bring this over here and like this. So we made new all-time highs here today in the NQ. And I imagine the ES is doing the same thing. It's only got a couple of targets showing. The YM is doing the same thing. It's only got a couple of targets showing. And the Russell, I don't think the Russell's doing it because it's got 3 targets. You can see. And I suspect if we added more targets here, it would give us more targets on the Russell. Yeah, it did give us more targets there. So and I like it in the center. For what I do, it works for me being in the center like that on the top. All right. So any questions anybody has? We don't have a trade set up here yet, but we'll look at this pull back down and test the ribbon. We'll look at this pull back down and test the ribbon, and this pull back down and test the ribbon. This did have a long trade from right here at 17.4. Right, 17.4. So any questions about any of this stuff? Does anybody have any? If not, then let me go look out here and see. I thought I had the live stream running over here somewhere. The YouTube one. It's not looking like it right there, but let's go here. No. Here. No. All right. Yeah, maybe on a different browser. Here it is. Found it. All right. Anybody that's watching the live stream, if you have in YouTube, if you have any questions, just type them in. I can answer any questions you have. Okay. I know there's some people watching out there right now. Somebody else just popped in, it looks like. So if you have any questions, just ask away. All right. If you guys, I'm going to put this ability to move it around in the regular context as well. The regular context right now, I don't even know what ability I have in that, but if you put that on, we're looking at this one. So actually, now the regular context doesn't get the table, so I don't have to do that. Never mind. All right, so this is the one that we were working with right here. That's got the weekly trading zones and all that stuff in it. Right, when you get a thing like this where you only have one target showing and you're trying to display three, that's because there is only one target to the left. There's only one higher pivot to the left. You know, if you blow it up like this and you actually put the pivots on, go down here and show recent swing highs and lows. 18,623, 18,623. So somewhere back there, there is a pivot at 18,623. Don't know where the heck that is, but somewhere back there is one. And that's what it's going back to. Oh, it's right here. 18,623.25. Why is it? It shouldn't be. Oh, okay. It's from the blue arrow. It's from this blue arrow right here. That's why it's looking back to right there. There's no other pivot above that one. Okay. If we get another blue arrow in here, it won't give you anything really. It might give you this right here as you pivot. But remember the table triggers off of the blue arrows. So if you get a blue arrow, then you're going to get a new set of targets. Okay. Do I mind reviewing band colors, band separation, how that's related to take a trade? I don't mind reviewing that at all, as a matter of fact, Joseph. Let's go over here and which one was it? Was it that I was using this morning? Something, wasn't it? I just had a couple of things left on it. Nope, wasn't that one. Is it the Russell? Nope. I don't think it was the ES. Maybe it was the MQ this morning. Hang on. I'm looking for the one that just has a couple of lines left on it. There it is. That's what I was using this morning. Okay, so when I was doing this morning, I was breaking it down into the lines that you really need. All right. Now, when you're trading with trading view charts, when you're trading with trading view charts, let's let me get rid of the extra stuff here. All right, we'll get rid of the outer bands, short-term outer bands, and we'll get rid of all the outer bands. All right. This is what you need right here. This is the leading edge of the ribbon. The BBC is the leading edge of the ribbon, and this is the trailing edge of the ribbon. So, Joseph, I know you have an NinjaTrader too, but if you're going to chart off a trading view, then this is what you're concerned with, right? You only need the leading edge and the trailing edge for trading view. If it hits the leading edge and does not hit the trailing edge, then you're going to get either a blue or a purple arrow. If it goes through and it hits the trailing edge, like it did right there, then you're going to get the green arrow. If it doesn't hit any edge, you're going to get a black arrow. Of course, it's all dependent on it coming out of the oversold or the overbought. The middle lines don't matter with TradingView. Okay, you can put the middle lines in if you want. You can put the B1 and B2 in there if you want, but they don't matter with TradingView. All right, they only matter when you're using this. With DT Pro and NinjaTrader, you have to have all four lines to take a ribbon and to take a trade. Any trade at all, you have all four lines in the ribbon. All right. So the question, I don't know if I read it out loud. The question is, do you mind reviewing band colors, band separation, and how that's related to the decision to take a trade? So with NinjaTrader and DT Pro, they have to be the right color, and you have to be able to see all four of them. Okay. It's only with NinjaTrader and DT Pro though. See right in here, the bars are all red. You wouldn't even be thinking about taking a long trade in here with the bars being red like that. The cycle going down way too steep. You're not even considering a long trade. What it's probably going to do here is a cycle reset. You don't have to worry about that with TradingView. But with DT Pro and NinjaTrader, after you get a big run like this and it's been overbought for a long time, the numbers get normalized and it just takes a little move down to bring the cycle way down. And so now what's probably going to happen is it's going to start moving up and it's going to use some bearish separation, but you'll be trading above the BBC, which means you don't get anything. Okay, because you're trading above the BBC with bearish separation. Okay, so now I see your continuation of the question. The outer bands, let's put those back on then. Okay, You're only really looking at the outer bands. They're exactly the same. They're the same color. They change at the same time. But all you care about is the color. All right, it doesn't matter where the price is with regard to the outer bands. You can have just the bottom ones on, just the tops on. You can on if you want. You don't have to, but you can. If they are blue and going up, that means both the long and short-term trend is bullish, right? If it's white and going up, that means the long-term trend is still bullish. The black line right here is still bullish. And the short-term is changed to bearish. During the pullback, the short-term is changed to bearish. That's usually going to happen when you get a deep pullback. It's usually going to change to white temporarily when you get a deep pullback. And then once it starts to run, it's going to change back to blue. Okay, that's usually what's going to happen. Now, if you look at any of these pullbacks, well, let's just go to purple one. If you look at these pullbacks, it's usually going to change. Now, I developed the purple one to let you know that it didn't change, that you have long and short-term trend are in favor of the trade. When it pulls back and hits the ribbon, long and short-term trend are in favor of the trade. So that's where you want to be. And the blue arrows are the highest probability trades. The purple arrows just add to the blue arrows. They let you know that the outer band is in favor of the trade as well as everything else. It being a shallow pullback and hitting their support or resistance. The purple arrows, you don't have to worry about it. But all the other ones, the black, blue, and green arrows, you want to have some separation in there. If you don't have separation in there, you're going to be in a no trade zone more than likely. Like this right here has probably gone into a no trade zone. I don't have the no trade zone turned on, but where we are right now, I believe it's probably going into no trade zone right here. Right? You want to have some separation in there. And just so you know, the no trade zone stuff, if I put the no trade zone on right here, see, here's your no trade zone. So we're going into a no trade zone. Now the no trade zone is dependent upon what you put in here for the sensitivity. The bigger the number that you have in here, the bigger the no trade zone. Okay. We'll see in a second. There. The bigger the number, the bigger the no trade zone. The smaller the number, the smaller the no trade zone. See in a second. It recalculates everything. There, it just took that one all the way off. You don't have no trade zone there yet. You can have no trade zones wherever there's a trend change. You can have some kind of a no trade zone because it has to swap. It has to go down to 0 in those places. But you want to have for the blue arrow, the green arrow, and the black arrow, you want to have some sort of separation in between these lines. Okay. You do want to have some sort of separation between those lines for those. And these lines right here. This is the outer band. This is the center. I didn't put all the outer bands on. If I put them all on, I probably should put them all on for you. So just look at a little piece of it right there. There and there. And you do want to have some sort of separation in these outer bands. When you get a blue arrow, black arrow, or a green arrow. The purple arrows don't care about the separation. Okay, they only care about the colors. All right. Am I taking a single trade yet? I don't think I have. We had a green arrow there that didn't work out, a green arrow here that would have been a break even. We have nothing here that's developing and a pullback here on the ES that could turn into a trade. But I'm running out of time. I only have 3 minutes left. It's going to sound like my voice is going to make it much more than 3 more minutes. So you don't get a blue arrow with no separation in the outer band. No, you'll still get a blue arrow. There'll still be times where it shows the blue arrow. If you don't have separation, if you don't have a bunch of separation, like right here, you got a blue arrow, it's just a little bit of separation, but it's looking back over here and it's seeing this separation. It's not the separation that's right above it. It's saying it's looking back over here and seeing there's still a little bit of separation there, so you're still in a little bit of a trend. So sometimes it'll still give you the blue arrow. You're not going to get a blue arrow. You're not going to get any arrow when it's in a no trade zone. Okay, and I changed this. I changed the sensitivity on this. This should be 0.35. You're not going to get any kind of arrow when it's in a no trade zone. Okay. So it's like this. No arrows, not even the little arrows. And again, the little arrows are what lead up to the big arrows. All right, not the purple one, but the green, blue, and black. The little arrows, you'll always have a little arrow before you get a green or blue or black arrow. because it goes to the little arrow telling you pay attention. The next one could be the trigger. It's saying you're oversold and you're in an uptrend. If it's pointing up and it's white, it's saying you're oversold and you're in an uptrend. If it's red and pointing down, it's saying you're overbought and you're in a downtrend. Okay, you're overbought and you're in a downtrend. If it goes into a no trade zone, it's not giving you anything. It's saying you don't have to pay attention right now. Go do something else. Ideally, this is what you're going to want right here. When you get a pullback, it hits the ribbon. Yeah, the outer band is spread a little bit. Ideally, that's what you're going to be looking for. Okay. You just got a buy alert. I just got a buy alert from some other chart saying I had a buy alert on the ES. All right, so on the Russell, we want this to pull back up and test the ribbon and give us a shorting opportunity. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in over there in the live stream, so we just have to wait. Again, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this purple button right here. Right, when you click that purple button, you'll be brought to this registration page where we ask for your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID and click register. All right. A bunch of the people that were in there this morning had Ninja. I'm going to send them all up there in the break. All right. Joseph, do you have any more questions right now? If you do, you have an answer them, but if you don't, I'm going to pass it back out to Fabulous Springs, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yes.
Excellent.
Recap of the morning session.
On today, it took 12 minutes and 6 trades to get to $1,870.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We still have not taken out the all-time historic high in the ES just yet. The all-time historic high is 53.33.5, and today's high is 53.24 1/4. Now, doesn't look like a lot because this is a daily chart, but I'll show it to you on a 30-minute. Now, that's the highest weekly zone, but the all-time high is up here at 53.33.5. And notice the step line has crossed balloon climbing. And so we're up against the zone, the highest zone for the week. The step line has crossed. So the next logical thing to happen is for price to retrace back to the BBC. Pullback holds more often than it doesn't. So if it holds, then we'll look for an opportunity to the upside. If this is one of the times where it doesn't hold, then we'll look for a shorting opportunity back down to the zone below. So the big question off the CPI number this morning, which we started talking about on Monday, talked about how there would be some wild swings, etc. When that CPI number came out, it came out cooler than expected. There was talk that it might come out hotter than expected. But we're in a presidential election year, so there's an awful lot of pressure to make those economic numbers look good. And there actually is going to be a debate next month. Both parties have agreed, but let me just share with you, in case you haven't seen it yet. This came out a little bit ago. Now, Biden has a lot of requirements. Fox News can't be there, can't be broadcast on Fox. RFK can't show up. Trump's microphone has to be muted except when he's speaking. And CNN gets to choose who the moderators will be. So, hey, if you can rig an election, why not rig the debate? Fair enough. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI. Send an email to support@cfrn.net. As a passport holder, you'll have access to the live training room, 2 hours every trading day. Access to one-on-one private mentoring at no additional charge. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. Also, as a passport holder, you receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, the weekly trading zones, and you're able to attend the members-only workshops on Thursday nights, and you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Let's wrap things up with our good word for the day. Jesus wants to set you free. Luke 13:12. But when Jesus saw her, he called her to him and said to her, "Woman, you are loosed from your infirmity." There was a woman who had a spirit of infirmity 18 years and was bent over and could in no way raise herself up. But when Jesus saw her, he called her to him and said to her, "Woman, you are loosed from your infirmity." Now notice 4 things in this story: the person, the problem, the great physician, and the prescription. For every person, including you, there will be a problem. But more importantly, for every problem, including yours, the great physician has a prescription. Jesus' opening statement to the problem in this woman's life is not a recommendation for counseling. It's a challenging command. You are loosed. Now, Christian counselors are a gift from God, but often more is involved in maintaining deliverance than just discussing past trauma. Jesus didn't counsel what should have been commanded. After you have analyzed the condition and understood its origin, it will take the authority of God's word to put the past under your feet. This woman was suffering as the result of something that had attacked her 18 years earlier. Yet her trauma was as fresh that day as it was the day it occurred. But while her problem was rooted in the past, her prescription could only be found in the present word from God. Jesus, who is the living word, is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hebrews 13:8. That is to say, the word you are hearing today is able to heal your yesterday. Jesus said Woman, you are loosed from your infirmity. Why didn't Jesus just call her by name? Because his promise applies to all of us. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.